It is time for your favorite Android podcast from the crew of blindandroidusers.com. Kick back and enjoy another fine episode from these Google fanboys as they navigate Android from a blindness perspective. And now, here are your hosts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 16 of the Blind Android Users podcast. I'm Ed Green, and I'm joined today by my co-hosts, Mariam Mohsen,
مرحبا بكم.
Warren Carr,
Hello, everybody.
and Austin Pinto.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode.
On today's show, we have our usual announcements section. In Android Basics, we're going to be taking a look at phone dialers. Then in our In Focus section, Austin is going to demonstrate how to unlock your bootloader in episode 2 of our romming series. We then have a new feature, which is looking at the commentary screen reader, which many people are interested in and have asked us to cover. So Mariam's going to demonstrate that for us. In App of the Week, we have a demo from Karine Kivan on CX Explorer, continuing the File Explorers theme from last week. And the My Android Journey section is brought to us this week by Yannick Plassiard, who joins us live. Bonsoir, Yannick.
Bonsoir. Hi, everybody.
Hey, everyone. How is everyone today?
Cool.
We lose sleep today in the UK. Our clocks go forward finally, so we'll be back on the same time differences with North America as we were a couple of weeks ago. As usual, I'm going to hand over to Austin to kick us off on the announcement section.
And before we start the announcements section and before we start the show, I've got a few wishes to give about. And first of all, I would like to wish from our podcast crew, I would like to wish all our Bangladeshi brothers a very happy 50th Independence Day. It happened 2 days back, and it's a delayed wish, but would like to congratulate Bangladesh for 50 years of independence. And another wish is that I would like to wish all the people celebrating Holi. Mostly it's celebrated by Indians, but it's also celebrated at different parts of the world wherever Indians are. Now, for those of you who don't know what Holi is the start of the summer season, which is not my favorite season, but it's okay. We require all the seasons. And what people basically do is they take color. I mean, this is a natural color, no artificial colors. Previously, we used to do artificial colors, but now they stopped. They take the color and put it on friends and relatives, and they wish each other happy Holi. And they have a lot of fun. It's a fun-filled festival, but it also brings the start of the summer. And tomorrow we're going to have a very, very fiery summer, 43 degrees in India. So at least in my area. So I would like to wish everyone happy Holi and enjoy the show. So this week in the announcement section, not much happened in the news, but there are some updates to the website and some statistics updates like usual. We have crossed 3150 plays on our podcast, and we have crossed 41 subscribers on YouTube. So thanks to our listeners for that. And the next announcement is that we have 2 new guides. One of the guide is how to get Lineage 18.1 to work on Raspberry Pi. This guide was submitted by Jacob Kruger, aka Blind Biker. He uses an external camera and uses the voice app or Seeing with Sound to navigate around. And it's a very nice guide. So you can see it. The link will be in the show notes. The next guide is a lot of people wanted us to do that. And unfortunately, our podcast host does not allow an easy way to download episodes. And so Warren made an interesting discovery and submitted another guide on how to download all our episodes from the website. So the link will be in the show notes for that also. You can also submit a guide if you have written something or you want to submit it, and we will feature your name in the contributors list. And if you have a website or something that you want to add to your guide, you can do that and email it to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. So that is it from the announcement section.
Thanks, Austin. You said it was a quiet news week, and it was, but it might just be worth us touching very briefly on the OnePlus launch this week. They came forward with, was it 3 phones?
Yeah, for India, it was a 3 phone, the 9R, the 9 and the 9 Pro.
And a watch as well. I think for most of the rest of the world, it'll just be the 9 and the 9 Pro. I think the biggest improvements are really in the camera, where they have partnered with a photographic firm to try and get their cameras to a little bit more of a flagship place than they used to be. Fast charging has also increased on the 9 and the 9 Pro, so that you can go from 0 to 100 in 30 minutes, which feels to me pretty cool, not necessarily essential. The fast charging on the 8, which I have, was already pretty quick. And the other thing about the 9 is that it now has wireless charging. Previously, only the Pro model in the 8 series, well, the T might have had it as well, but the standard 8 didn't have wireless charging. The standard 9 does. They get a slight processor upgrade from the 865 to the 888. Qualcomm Snapdragon, obviously, but storage and RAM remains the same. The other thing is that their pricing has also become a little bit more flagship. So where OnePlus obviously offered value, that's probably closing just a little bit. Like, it's still cheaper than an S21 or an iPhone 12, but that price differential to me is becoming less. I mean, I think from my perspective, I've got an 8. 256 gig storage, 12 gig RAM. I don't think I'm going to be getting the 9 or the 9 Pro just for wireless charging and slightly quicker fast charging. Those interested in photography, and I know that many blind people might want to think about it. But Austin, are you putting your hand in your pocket? You're a OnePlus man.
I'm the OnePlus man and I like OnePlus, but I don't know what happened this year. I watched their event and it looked like they didn't have much to offer. There were a lot of marketing terms thrown around, and half of the event was about cameras. And I do like OnePlus. I like them, but I'm going to give them credit where it is due. And the watch, wow, don't even get me started. It's like 17,000 rupees in India, and everyone on YouTube, the other channels, tech channels, were expecting OnePlus to launch the watch either under 10,000 rupees, or if they launch it above 15,000 rupees, then they should bring Wear OS in the watch. But there is no Wear OS in the watch. That is the worst part of the watch.
It's interesting. They're getting reasonable mainstream commentary on the phone. Like Tech Radar don't think the camera's the finished article, but they think that the improvements they've made kind of allows the 9 and the 9 Pro, the 9 Pro particularly, I think, to stand alongside the other flagship phones and at least compete. Warren, are you interested? You're a Pixel man through and through, aren't you? We're not going to get you over to OnePlus.
Well, so the problem that I have with the OnePlus is not necessarily that it's a bad phone at all. I think it's a very good phone. But I think that the reason why the watch is not running the Wear OS is just beyond me. I don't know. And I'm wondering if that is going to be accessible or not, for those of us who are blind, because it makes sense that, if you're going to put something out there, that you should make it accessible. And I hope that whatever OS they're powering this device with would be accessible to blind people. But we know that OnePlus, until of late, has not been very, especially when it comes to the dialer. Earlier on, it wasn't very accessible. So I'm not kind of thinking that this thing may be accessible. And if it is, then it's going to be a big surprise for all of us. But at 17,000 Indian currency, that's a little bit over the top. I don't know what that converts into US dollars, but that's a little bit expensive. Now, the OnePlus phone is a great phone, and I would love to have one if it only has an SD card. That's what's keeping me away from the OnePlus phone, because you are not a Google kind of phone. So you want to be a Google, want to be, come on, man. Give me that SD card like you have in the Nord.
I hate to break it to you folks, the SD card slot is dead on flagship phones. Like, Mac deprecated the floppy drive and everyone cried and insisted they would bring it back. They didn't. You aren't getting an SD card slot on a flagship phone, boys. Sorry.
Yeah,
So
it's such a shame.
I have two comments more on the OnePlus. And first thing is, even the Nord does not have an SD card slot, and the second is, in China what they are doing is horrible, absolutely horrible. They are removing oxygen or hydrogen OS, what they were using. It's like same port of oxygen OS but without the Google services. So they're removing that and they're using color OS. And if this color OS comes to Google, the Nord is the last OnePlus device I'm going to have.
Yeah, that's another consideration. If you do want to put your hand in your pocket, and it doesn't sound like any of us do, especially, although like Warren said, that they're nice phones. You can get the OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro in the UK from the 31st of March. In the US, I think it's a little bit later. I think it's the 2nd of April.
Yeah, 2nd of April.
Yeah, I think 2nd. So, and the OnePlus 9 is going to set you back 869 USD basic, 729 pounds. I say basic because there's a 128 gig storage, 8 gig RAM option, and a 256 gig 12 gig of RAM option. The OnePlus 9 Pro comes in at, I think it's $100 more and £100 more. So you can really see that flagship price gap closing. If you want flagship phones for mid-range pricing, looks like we're going to have to look somewhere else, whether that's Honor or Oppo, I don't know. But OnePlus prices are getting increasingly flagshipy, which I suppose is fair enough if their features are too. But the obvious value they offered, I think that margin's closing a little bit.
Or if you play my game, of course, you could always go back and get yesterday's wine and get maybe like the 8 or something. Because I was seeing that those things were kind of actually having like a $3 cut today. So it will be a good time to pick up one of those if one is into OnePlus.
Yeah, sound advice. They will have come down now, and you'll probably start to see them being listed in secondhand sites too. So keep your eye out for that. In Android Basics, we're going to talk about phone dialers. Apparently, people use phones to make phone calls. I didn't know this, but it's interesting. People tell me they do. And so let's talk about the dialers that come with your phone. A little bit like file managers and file explorers. You might be happy, broadly speaking, with the dialers that come with your phone, but equally, there may be reasons you want to change it. I have my OnePlus 8 powered up, and I'm going to show you what happens when I flick through my call history just quickly. Favorites, tab, selected. The date, 149, list, call to Stephen Anthony, 07, contact details for Stephen Anthony, unlabeled button. Double tap to activate. I've got an unlabeled button. I think that's probably a call button, but it is unlabeled. The other issue you have with the OnePlus dialer as well is that it doesn't let you answer the phone properly using TalkBack. Answering calls is quite difficult to do. So you probably will want to replace your stock dialer if you have a OnePlus phone. There are various different options you can use to do that. Happily, Google has made the stock Pixel dialer available, so you can go ahead and install that from the Play Store. There are a couple of other good dialers that blind people have used successfully and are known to be accessible where the devs listen and will fix things if they occur. DEW Contact is one, TruePhone Dialer is another, but obviously Google and OnePlus aren't the only manufacturer of dialers around. Mariam, you've got a Samsung, haven't you? Do you like your dialer?
Yes, I have been using Samsung for quite a while, and since I've gotten my Samsung phone, my first one, and so far I haven't found any issues with my Samsung phone dialer, and also it has a recording feature. But the only thing that actually can be an issue is that it's not related to the dialer itself, but it's related to commentary screen reader users in particular. Because if you want to type a certain number, you need to double tap and long click a little bit more than usual.
Is that like tap and hold you almost have to do to get that to
No, it's
execute?
not double tap and complete hold. Like if you want to, open a list or something like that. Because if you did that, it'll think that you want to assign a certain contact for this number, but it's kind of pretty short. Double tap and long click.
So I have my phone here, and I will open up Recent button.
The phone app.
One UI home. Phone. Phone. Home screen. Page 2 of 2.
Here it is. So this is the Samsung phone app. What I would do is
5.
this the 5. I'm using CSR, and then
5.
it's pretty short.
0. 0.
You know, almost a normal double tap, but you need to just leave your finger a little bit on the screen.
9.
1,
9.
9. See?
9.
So we can say it's 9. Leave it.
9.
9. So that's the only issue. I can also talk about the answering calls. Before we did have some issues regarding answering and declining calls, but now the buttons appear normally. Before it says swipe right to answer and swipe left to decline. If you get this and you don't get, certain buttons or actual buttons, what you can do is hold the answer button and double tap and hold and swipe right while holding the button, and it will do what you want.
Excellent.
Now, Ed, I have a question for you. That unlabeled button that you came across earlier, is that something that can be labeled or is unlabelable?
I think you could label it. I think you could use the button, the button label feature in TalkBack to do that. I don't think that's a particular issue. I guess what you might want though, especially given the other more fundamental issue with the OnePlus dialer, the answering call thing, you might just want to swap out the dialer. Do you want to label buttons in a dialer where the functionality is going to be problematic elsewhere as well? Because that you probably can't fix quite so easily.
Now, Austin, on your Nord, that's the OnePlus Nord, is that button labeled since it comes with the Google dialer by default?
Okay, so the OnePlus Nord has the Google dialer, and everything is labeled because it's a Google dialer. So updates come from the Play Store, and also everything is labeled. There's no unlabeled button there.
That's good to hear. One of the things that Mariam mentioned with the Samsung dialer, which is because it works on a kind of double tap basis, you can double tap and hold to assign speed dial contacts. If you have a raise to enter method like on the Google dialer, can you do that, Warren? Can you long press to dial numbers on the Google dialer?
So on the Google dialer, if you long press on a number, it would, for instance, like the 0, for instance, would turn into a plus. Now, frankly, I haven't tried to see if I could assign, like assign contacts by, the traditional method of, assigning um, contacts to like, the digits and things like that. No, I haven't done that. And I don't think that would, but well, it wouldn't hurt to try it and see what happens, right? So I'm gonna go to my keypad and see. Yeah, so see, if I long press on it's not doing anything. If I yeah, see it only the 0 would give me the plus, but the numbers. No, so we can't long press on the Google dialer and, maybe assign contacts that way. So as a result of that, your contacts are arranged, or favorites are arranged by using or basically utilizing the favorites, and you could assign favorites like that, but
Yeah,
not by long pressing one of the digits.
no. The Google dialer is a good, clean dialer though. I quite like it. I was happy to send the OnePlus dialer to the disabled section of my apps list, so I no longer see it. Moving on to our In Focus section this week, and it's episode 2 of our romming series. I think episode 1 was back in podcast episode 6, and this week Austin is going to show us how to unlock the bootloader.
Hi everyone, welcome to the second episode of romming your Android phone. In today's episode, we will be demonstrating on how to ROM an A-only device, a device with an A-only partition structure. We will be showing you how to unlock the bootloader, how to install TWRP, and how to then finally ROM your device. So let's start the device setup for unlocking the bootloader. And in my last podcast, I want to clarify a point before I start the setup for the bootloader unlock. In my last podcast, I had told you that you will require sighted help while you flash the ROM. This is only true. You will only require sighted help to do the following. Allow system modifications while you install TWRP, which I'll be showing you a bit later. Checking if your phone is encrypted or not. Again, I'll be talking about that later. And if you install the ROM and if like 5-7 minutes go by and you cannot start TalkBack, you will then require sighted help to check what is on the screen. Now, definitely, if you don't have sighted help unfortunately around, you can do the last step, that is the checking what is on screen after your ROM means after you flash the ROM, boot your phone, nothing is happening. You can check what is on the screen by using, if you have another device, if you have another phone, you could use apps like Lookout or Speak or something that will tell you what is on the screen. You could also check if your phone is encrypted like that, the same way. So encrypted is when you boot TWRP, it asks for a data, it asks for a password to decrypt your data partition. Although you have not set any password or anything, but still it asks for password to decrypt the data partition. So that means your phone is encrypted, and I'll show you later how to decrypt it. I will explain it to you. So you can check that way. So I would say you only require sighted help for swiping to allow system modification. That is the only thing. Okay, that was my explanation. So let's set the device up for bootloader unlock.
Device unlocked. 2:45 p.m. About phone. Accounts. No. About phone. Zenfone Max Pro M1.
You click on About Phone.
Navigate up. IME. Android. iPad. Wi-Fi. Device 1. Bluetooth address. Uptime. Build number. RQ18.20120.5.010. Pixel reloaded _XOOT1102020122.
Now this is the build number.
Beta.
You'd want to click on that 7 times to enable developer option.
Screen off. Lock
And
screen.
TalkBack will tell you
slowly.
that you are
2:46 p.m. About phone. Build number
that you are ready to enable developer options. So let's do it.
Pixel reloaded. You are now 4 steps away from being a developer. You are now 3 steps away from being a developer. You are now 2 steps away from being a developer. You are now 1 step away from being a developer. Showing numeric password keyboard. Screen lock. Re-enter your PIN.
And once
Editing,
you
PIN, edit
successfully click on
Double
that build
tap and
number
hold
7
long
times, if you have set a PIN or any unlock method, you will have to enter that. Let me try fingerprint works here. No, it does not. So you have to enter your PIN. And I just set up a
Keyboard.
random PIN.
1.
Okay.
Re-enter your device. Editing. PIN. 4 characters.
Yeah. Next.
Next. Keyboard. About phone. Numeric password keyboard hidden. Build number. RQ18.
And we are a developer. Although TalkBack should have announced that, but it
I
did
am
not.
about phone.
So we are a developer. Now, the first part of the setup is over. The second part of the setup starts now.
Phone number. Device.
So
help
you
it,
want
search,
to
about
go
phone,
back.
Navigate up button. Settings.
And you want to
System,
go
languages.
to System.
System.
You want
Advanced
to go to
reset.
Advanced. Now, this may vary on different devices. Different devices might have the settings laid out differently. Different Android versions might have this setting laid out differently. So you will have to find the settings yourself, or you can search for settings on the top and just type developer. So if you type developer, you will get the developer options setting here. So
Reset up developer options.
yeah, developer options.
Double tap to activate.
And you
Developer
opened it.
Enable Bluetooth HCI Snoop log disable.
Now what we want to find is enable USB debugging. So let's scroll down.
Running service. Picture color. Web view. DSU. System. Quick setting. Debugging. USB debugging. Debug mode when USB is connected. Off switch.
So you heard it's
Double tap
off.
to activate.
Debug mode when USB is connected. What this will do, if it's enabled, it will allow ADB to communicate to the device via USB or wirelessly. But I have never tried wireless ADB, so I don't know how that works. But I think it works. You have to enter your device's IP address and such. So let's do that. Let's enable this USB debugging. Let's
Alert
enable
allow
that.
USB debugging. USB debugging is intended for development purposes only. Use it to copy data between your computer and your device, install apps on your device without notification, and read log data.
Okay, so that was the description.
Cancel.
And we
Okay.
hit allow.
USB debugging connected. Tap to turn off USB debugging.
And you
Developer
heard
options. USB
the
debugging.
screen,
Debug mode
the
when
phone
USB is
disconnect
connected.
and
On
reconnect
switch
again.
list. Not the computer's RSA
Now
fingerprint
you
is.
will get this you'll get another screen. It will tell you that the computer's RSA key is so and so, and it will have a checkbox. Allow,
Not checked. Always allow from this computer. Checkbox.
always allow from this computer. So
tap
you
to
want to
toggle.
check this definitely. And you hit OK.
Cancel. Allow button. Developer options. USB debugging. Debug mode when USB is connected. On switch in
That's it. We are
Double
now
tap to
set up
activate.
for unlocking the bootloader. Okay, now we have set up our device and we are ready to unlock the bootloader. So let's get started. This is the first step you will ever take in romming. So I have my Asus M1 Pro here and I'm connecting it to the computer. It's booted in fast boot mode, what we had done last time in the part where I showed you how to set up the phone. I showed you how to boot it in fast boot mode using the command. If you are in the PowerShell in Windows 10, you will have to set ADB and fast boot as environment paths. But anyway, if you don't do that, the command for everything will be there'll be a dot backslash in front of the command. So here, to boot the phone in bootloader mode, the command would be dot backslash adb space reboot space bootloader. So now I'm going to connect my phone to the computer which is in fast boot mode. Okay, it's connected. And let me switch to the PowerShell window. Okay, so to see if your phone is in fast boot mode, you will type
J4AAB716 fast boot PSC user.
So you saw that long serial number followed by the text fast boot. So this means your phone is in fast boot mode. So the command that I wrote is fast boot space devices. And the dot slash that you will hear is because I'm in the PowerShell of Windows 10. If you are in CMD window, if you open the command prompt, there is no need to put dot slash. So let's start the procedure. Let's unlock the bootloader. First of all, let me warn you again. I have warned you in the first episode. I am warning you again. Unlocking the bootloader will erase your data, that is your phone's internal storage, your apps and all, and the user storage, that is when you plug in your phone to the computer. If your phone does not have an SD card, the storage that you see with all your files, folders, WhatsApp, Telegram, all those music and those folders, they will also be erased. But if you have an SD card on your phone, that won't be erased. So you can back up things to an SD card, but I would prefer that you have the backup outside on your PC. So you have to have a data backup now. This is your last chance. That's what I've told you. Okay, so let's start the procedure. Let's put this command.
/ASTBOOT_OEM_UNLOCK.
Okay.
Failed. Remote unknown command. Fastboot error. Command failed. PSC. Users OST downloads platform tools greater.
Okay, so you heard the command failed. That is not a good start. Actually, it's nothing to worry. On some of these new fastboot versions, the command is a bit different, and I'll be showing you what the command is now. Okay, so when I did the OEM unlock command, you heard that the command failed, and that is nothing to worry about. On new versions of fastboot, the command has changed. So you need to even do research of commands. Although they don't change a lot, I think they have changed. This is the only first time that they have changed ever in the history of Android. So now the command is fastboot. So I'll put the dot backslash
FASTBOOT space
flashing
FLASHING space
unlock.
UNLOCK. OK 0.05 OS. Finished. Total time 0.05 OS. PSC. Users OST downloads platform tools greater.
So you heard the command finished successfully. Now we have to reboot the device. For that you have to type
/ASTBOOT space REBOOT. Rebooting OK 0.00 OS. Finished. Total time 0.014 S. PSC. Users OST downloads platform tools greater.
So you heard the disconnect sound, you heard the rebooting sound, the rebooting on the NVDA says rebooting. So in the olden days, not the olden days, I'm saying, in about, I think this command has come after Android 11 released. I think it came a little before that. In the previous times, the command was fastboot space OEM unlock, and then you have to press the volume up on your device and then the power button, and then the device would erase everything and reboot. Now the command is fastboot space flashing space unlock. You hit enter on that, and then you type afterwards fastboot space reboot.
Thanks, Austin. That was really useful, and it's something I certainly intend to do for one of my older Android phones, where a ROM is available to upgrade it from Nougat, which is where it's currently stuck. So I shall await all future episodes with interest before I try and undertake that. Now we have a new feature. We know that many of our users on the email list and listeners enjoy using the commentary screen reader. So in the first of a new series, on Comtix, Mariam is going to introduce commentary to us and take us through some of the features associated with that screen reader.
Commentary screen reader, or the Chinese screen reader, has gotten really popular among blinds and visually impaired recently. And here, on the Blind Android Users podcast, we will have a series of episodes in which we will talk about how to use the screen reader and how to get the best out of it. Welcome to the first episode of CSR's Basics, or Jisoo Screen Reader. In this episode, we're gonna talk about what you need to know before getting the app, or if you're thinking of installing it. Commentary Screen Reader, or Jisoo, has been originally developed in China. After it's been created, people outside of China were curious about this screen reader and what features does it carry. and then a translator from audiogames.com contributed to translate the app to English. And now the app is pretty much completely translated to English. And now, recently, they've been working on translating the app to some other languages, like Arabic, French, and so on. If we compared between CSR and TalkBack, we can say that every screen reader has its own features and its own advantages and disadvantages. If you're actually confused between what version you should install, I can tell you that there are two versions mainly for CSR: the original, or you could call it the complete version, and the international one. The international one doesn't have some additional features that you probably won't need if you live outside of China. For instance, like the Chinese TTS engine that the complete version does have. CSR also does have a premium subscription, which could be an annual subscription, 2-year subscription, or even 3-year subscription. What you get out of the premium subscription is basically some additional features like advanced text editing and advanced text copying, notification summary, which summarizes reading notifications in the screen reader, and sometimes actually it could be pretty useful, app gestures, and backing up some settings to the cloud or your phone. You can install the app through the website, which we will link in the description of the podcast, or the official groups on Telegram and WhatsApp, which the screen reader has. Also, if you are already a user or if you tried the app and you have any feedback, you can send it to the email that's actually in the app, up in the up corner. And from my own experiences, the developer is pretty responsive and he replies to your emails in less than 24 hours. As I mentioned, CSR has some groups which are official. Directly you can ask questions, give your feedback, or even know about the latest news and the updates, and even install the app. Those groups are available on Telegram as well as WhatsApp. There is an English official group, a Chinese official group, as well as an Arabic official group, and if there's any language that CSR is translated to, you would definitely find the group for it. Also, in the app, in the download additional resources, you would find a list of audio tutorials that actually people have created to help you using the app. Commentary Screen Reader is also available on Play Store, but the difference between the Play Store version and the version that you could download from the group or the official website is that there are some features that are restricted or updates that won't actually be released. In this episode, we talked about what you should know before installing CSR. In the next episode, we will talk about the installation process and we will demonstrate how to configure your settings and how to use it as best as you want. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next week.
Great, Miriam. You may convert me, but I don't know if I would be jumping on that train anytime soon. But that
Yeah, you
was
should do
wonderful.
that actually.
I should.
Yes.
That will be another fight between me and Miriam.
Yeah, I think.
I remember back in the day, they at CSUN and other conventions, they used to have Windows dueling competitions. So they would try and identify tasks that they knew that one of the Windows screen readers couldn't do. And then you'd have people sat up stage from Arctic with WinVision, from GW Micro, from Hentage Freedom Scientific, from Dolphin, and they would all have to demonstrate how they would accomplish this task set by the moderators. Maybe we should get Mariam to think of things that TalkBack can't do, and then we can bring back the dueling screen readers, and Mariam and Warren can
I
demonstrate.
definitely can do that.
Well,
That
that's
would be
going to be a
amazing.
nice fight, and I'm looking to
Yes.
a beautiful fight, you know.
What was
Me
really
too.
funny was how the different manufacturers found different ways to try and get round the things they knew their screen readers couldn't
Yeah,
do.
and you know what? We can have you Ed as a judge you and Austin, and you can say, okay, which is the best.
I think we should do that. I always enjoyed that back when there actually was a choice of Windows screen readers. Remember those days? Continuing our theme from last week, our next feature is a demo from Karine Kawan in our App of the Week section, who is going to demonstrate CX Explorer.
Hello, blind Android users podcast listeners. This is Karine Kawan. I'm going to make a quick demo of the CX File Explorer File Manager application. It's free, and I will use mainly the swipe method to try to show you the interface elements. And since I'm not an English native speaker, so I'm sorry if there's any mistake and for anything that is not understandable.
Ruthless. Home screen. Turbo. CX File Explorer. CX File Explorer. More options. Button.
I have the more options.
Pop-up window. Settings.
Go from there to settings.
CX File Explorer. Navigate up. Button.
Okay, so
settings.
Here.
Default apps. Heading. Default apps. Built-in apps. Heading. Image viewer. Not ticked. Video player. Ticked. Music player. Ticked. Text editor. Ticked. Tick box.
The app contains some players with basic functionality. You can play music, you can play videos, you can view images and edit .txt files, and they are considered accessible as much as I tested them.
Notification settings. Heading. Storage is full. Show when the storage is over 98% full. Recycle bin settings. Use recycle bin by default. Not ticked. Tick box.
Here, if I'm going to use the recycle bin as the default option when deleting, or I want to delete the files or folders permanently.
Show recycle confirmation. Ticked. Tick box. Disable. Advanced settings. Detect USB connection. Ticked. Tick box.
If the USB connection is detected by the app automatically, so if I'm connecting a flash memory, for example, using USB on the go.
Show system storage. Ticked. Tick box.
If system storage is shown.
File size unit. GB. Show advanced menus. Heading. Add to home screen. Ticked. Tick box. Hide unhide. Ticked. Tick box. Openers. Ticked. Tick box.
Though I can here specify if I want those options to appear when dealing with the files. So let's say, for example, if I want to have the option to add the file to the home screen or not.
About. Heading. CX File Explorer. More options.
I'm going back from the settings and
main storage.
Let's see here.
27%. 35 gigabytes. 1 images. 389 megabytes. Audio. 2.6 videos. 1 point. Analyze button.
Okay, so this information is related to the size used in the main storage. Here I'm not having any memory card inserted in my device, and it's showing me the size used and the percentage used, in addition to what's the size taken by each category, like images and videos.
1 point. Analyze button.
And I have the analyze button. I'll press on that.
Navigate. Storage. More option. Main storage. 93.18 gigabytes free. 27%. More button.
If I press on more, it will show me the folders that are taking the most size, and I can deal with them, deal with the files.
Large files. 3.08 gigabytes. Files larger than 10 megabytes. More button.
Okay, if I press more here, it will show me the files that are larger than 10 megabytes. And also I can deal with them, like deleting some of them.
Cache files. 352 megabytes. Cache files. Clear button. More button.
I can clear from here the cache files directly from the app, and I can press on more to see the cache size per app basis. So if I want to delete just the cache of a certain application, for example.
Currently playing track.
Okay, going back.
Analyze button. Selected.
Here I am having one selected and the other is not selected. The two are not spoken. The first one is the one that is the default one actually, and it's the one that's showing me those information. And if I press on the second one,
selected.
those information will be are going to be replaced by some
Main storage,
locations
download.
that I was in.
Audio, ringtones. Main storage, download.
So if I press, for example, on that download here, it will take me directly to the downloads folder.
Selected. Selected, library.
And as I said, the default one is the first one.
Selected, local.
Now the main app tabs, those are local, library, and network. You can find them using Explore by Touch. Also, they are in the row, which is in the middle of the screen.
Selected, local. Library, selected.
Local is selected.
Network, main storage. System.
System partition.
Downloads.
Downloads folder.
Apps. Recycle bin.
Okay. So if I let's go to the main storage, and here we will see how files and folders are arranged. And this displaying method is used across all the tabs and pages.
Main storage, download. See system. Main storage. Acapella.
It's showing me the folders, but if I put my finger on the top of the screen,
Acapella voices, 6, home, navigate up, button.
I have those.
Main storage. Arrow drop down, view.
Here I can change some viewing options.
CX File
Like
Explorer. Apply to
list
all
or
folders,
grid, I
not
think.
ticked. View, heading, ticked. Radio button, not ticked.
But
Radio button,
unfortunately, those are not spoken.
not ticked. Radio button, ticked. Radio, not ticked. Radio button, sort, heading.
Here is the sorting.
Name,
I can
others, heading.
select name, size, and others.
Show hidden files, others, heading. Name, others, heading. Show hidden files, not ticked. Tick box.
Okay, if hidden files are shown.
Apply to all folders, not ticked. Tick box.
And if those changes will be applied into all folders or not. Going back,
CX File Explorer. More options, button.
here I can search, I can create a new folder, I can refresh.
Home.
And I have the home that will take me to the home page.
Root. Analyze. Acapella voices, 6 items.
So,
Toggle selection. Alarms, 50. Toggle selection.
when I'm swiping next to each folder and next to each file, I will have the toggle selection. Some people may prefer dealing with things using the Explore by Touch. They may consider it easier
GM font down,
or
.dc
faster.
backups. Dog down font GM lazy list, 0 items.
And
Android, 4 toggle selection.
some people also may prefer to not have those toggle selection next to each file and folder. They prefer to just long press and have the selection mode and to just long press to enter the selection mode. This is not the case here.
Android, 4 toggle selection.
If I select
selected.
this folder,
Currently playing track. Current lazy list, 0 items.
nearly at the bottom of the screen,
Bottom menu say fairy. Copy. Move copy.
I'm having those options.
Move. Rename. Delete. More.
So if I press on delete, for
Delete.
example,
Delete. Preparing to delete files. Folder 507. Ticked. Permanently delete. Tick box.
if I press here, it will permanently delete the files or folders. And if it's checked, if it's not checked, it will just take them to the recycle bin.
Cancel button.
I'm canceling here.
CX. DCIM 3. Top documents 2. Top download. Afimi MP3 4.74
If I
megabytes.
press on that MP3,
Currently playing track. Pause. Button. Play.
at the bottom of the screen, it's showing me that this track is currently playing. It's playing in the built-in music player.
Play or play button. Currently playing track.
If
Currently
I press on that,
Afimi 003 1% 406.
I can deal with the seek bar. I can
Shuffle button. Skip to previous. Play
skip
button.
to previous, skip to next.
Com Google
Going
Android
back.
Path. Toggle selection. 1 selected. Copy.
Selecting one, and it will tell me that this item is selected. But in other areas, like in the apps manager and in the new file section, and if the item is selected or not, that will not be told.
Copy.
But here it's
CH to letter toggle 2 selected. Toggles selected item. CH to currently playing track.
So
More. Bottom menu. Save.
let's
More.
see more.
Pop-up window. Share.
Share,
Compress.
compress to .zip,
Properties.
and the properties. Now I'll go back.
CH to let escape launchers. Toggle selection.
If I select one item, I can find
One
more
selected. Play or pause button. More.
things like
Pop-up window. Compress. Open with. Open as.
open with, open as,
Properties.
and
Open. Compress. Add to home screen.
add
Open
to
as.
home screen.
CX File Explorer. More.
Well,
Afimi MP3.
let's
4.74
go back
megabytes.
now, or
Toggle
if
selection.
I
Two selected.
just
Copy.
copy something,
Cancel.
I will have also at the bottom part
Paste layout. Cancel. Paste.
the cancel and paste.
Showing up. Main storage. Navigate up. Main. More options. Home.
Going to the home page.
Audio. Ringtones. Apps.
Now let's see the library, or
Downloads.
sorry, the
Apps.
apps section.
Downloaded. Bronwen. Or. Selected. Downloaded.
Downloaded and all, which will include system apps.
Or. Bronwen Voice. Toggle selection.
Selecting one,
Toggle. Bronwen Voice. English GB.
it's not telling me if
20.55.
it's
Toggle
selected,
selection.
but it's selected.
Backup.
I'm seeing at the bottom of the screen the backup,
Uninstall.
the uninstall,
Share.
share,
Open.
and open,
Store.
and to go to its page in the Play Store. Going back,
AC Bridge. 0. C. Audio. Ringtones. Library.
I'll see the library section now.
Library. Network. Images.
It will categorize things or files due to if they are images or audio, or
Audio.
let's see the audio.
New pipe. 1.
Okay, it's showing me the folder and the number of audio files contained in it. So if I enter it, I can view them and also deal with them.
CX file. Audio. Ringtone. Selected. Local.
And
New files.
I have the new files section,
Videos. New files.
which is something I think it's very important in the file manager. It will show you the recently added files, so sometimes it will save you a lot of the time
Document. New files.
you may lose while you are searching for a file.
Document. New file.
Recently added file.
Demo MP3. Demo the 22nd of March 2021. 2021 03 22 14. Toggle selection. Demo to MP. Toggle selection. 1 selected. Toggle. Demo to
Okay,
MP.
so I can select and do the usual stuff here.
Demo MP3.
Going
CX file.
back,
Selected. Library. Network.
the
Network.
third
Selected.
one.
Page 3 of 3. Audio. Ringtones. Document. Library. Selected. Network. Access from network.
Access from network. Here I can access the files on the phone using the computer. The easiest way is to use is to just enter a folder on your computer and then press the F4, delete the path, and enter the FTP link, and then you have to enter the username and password, and you can deal with the files and folders, cut, copy, add, and delete, and all of that stuff.
Select. Access from
The
net.
options here,
Navigate. Access from. Scan. Not ticked. Port. Not ticked. Random password. Tick box.
the password is generated randomly by the app,
Port.
and here the port,
3904. Edit
can
box.
edit it,
Password.
the password,
111,001. Ticked. Show hidden files.
and
Tick
if
box.
hidden files are shown,
Start the service to access. Start
and to
service.
start the
Button.
service. Back,
Access from network. New location. Paste
Oh,
layout save.
new
New
location.
location. Cloud. Remote. Selected.
I have
Cloud.
cloud and remote.
Remote. Dropbox.
Cloud, I have some cloud services like
Google Drive. OneDrive. Box.
those are the services. And the remote,
OneDrop.
I
Google.
have
Drop. Remote. Remote. Local network. SMB. FTP. SFTP. WebDAV.
Okay, so this is my demo of the CX File Explorer. I hope that it was clear and that it's useful. And thank you for listening.
Amazing. I'll definitely be trying this.
It's actually a good file manager. I have that as one of my file managers, and there are certain things it does that other explorers or other file managers don't do, but it's absolutely a nice file manager. If you don't want to use others, that could be a go-to file manager.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully between last week's show and this, we've given you a fleet of file manager apps to explore and have a look at, and you'll find something that suits your individual needs and tastes. To conclude our show this week, I'm delighted to say that we are joined by Yannick Plassiard. Bonjour et bienvenue, Yannick. And you're going to talk to us about your Android journey. So when did you get started with Android?
Hi, everyone, and thanks, Ed and Warren and everyone who invited me on this show. So we're really delighted to be here tonight or today, depends on when you are listening this. So when I started my Android journey, it was like ages, if I can say that. My first Android device was on Ice Cream Sandwich. So Android 4.0. If I'm correct. It was the first generation of Google Nexus 7 tablets, which was on Android 4.0. And the fun fact of this is it was the very first device which was accessible for Android perspective, but you didn't have any gestures available. So the only thing we could do is just take our finger from the screen from one part to another and let's say guess what there is under the finger and then double tap to activate. But there were no gestures, no way to navigate by specific granularity and so on. So there was a very beginning of the talkback screen reader, actually.
Excellent. And what was your first phone? I had the Nexus 4, so I remember the LG Nexus range fairly well. But what did you do phone-wise?
My very first phone, well, I made an assumption when searching for an Android phone. I thought that Google was the best choice, I would say, to have the most accessible experience on Android. So I started with the Samsung Galaxy Nexus, which was part of the Nexus program, which came with Android 4.1. It was Jelly Bean. And then I switched to the Nexus quite, well, I switched quite quickly on the Nexus 4, the LG Nexus 4, which was one of my most favorite phone ever, to be honest. And I kept it quite a long time of Nexus 4.
And where did you go next? Take us through your various phones to the present day.
Okay, so next, because of my French podcast and so on, I make lots of switch from Android to iOS, to Android to iOS, back to Android, etc., etc., and sometimes both at the same time. But on the Android side, from the LG Nexus 4, I get to Nexus 5, then Nexus 5X, and then there was a long pause from the Nexus part because the Google Pixel, which was a very interesting phone, was not available in France. Google decided not to make it available, so I had to change from brand, and I tried the OnePlus. So I had a OnePlus 5, which was a great phone, and then I had, and I still have, a OnePlus 6, which is my backup phone. It tend to be like very uncomfortable to use because it has dropped, and the screen is kind of broken. There's lots of things which are not available to do anymore because the gesture layer part of the screen is kind of broken, but still it kind of work, and I can sometimes use it to do some calls and so on. So it's really my last change backup phone. So, and then after the OnePlus 6, I switched a few weeks ago to a Pixel 4a, and that's my daily driver actually right now.
And what's the 4a like?
For the 4A is that, well, it turned to show me that I was kind of correct saying that the most accessible experience is using a Google phone with Google applications and the Google experience from top to bottom, if I can say that. Applications are very accessible. The phone itself is quite fast, although it's not very latest Qualcomm 8 series processor, but still I'm quite impressed by the smoothness of the overall interface and the overall OS. It seems that Google made lots of optimizations here and there to ensure that daily activities are quite fast and easy to do without waiting for loading screens and so on. So I'm really happy to have this phone, although it's not a long time since I'm using it. One of the most thing I like on this is the sound, although lots of YouTube channels and reviews say that the Pixel sound is not the best of every sound ever, but still I think that there is kind of lots of mediums, and I won't say lots of bass, it would be lying, but it has some kind of bass sound which make it really good to hear when you are listening to an audiobook, for example, or podcast or something. Of course, not music, but some talking. It's really nice to have it listening without having to plug headphones or to plug to a Bluetooth speaker or so on and so on.
That's good. Yannick, I also have the Pixel 4a, and it's a good phone. It's absolutely a good phone. So if one is looking into buying one, if you can't afford the 4a 5G, then this would definitely be one to get. It's what, $349, and now
Something
and
like that,
then
yeah.
you find it for like $300, $50 off. So it's a good phone to have. It's a joy to have. I have mine, and I think I'm going to be pulling the thing, playing with it more. But it's a good phone. Of course, it's all plastic. So if you don't like plastic, then you don't want to go with it.
Yeah, sure. The main materials used are, it seems to be like cheaper. Of course, it's a cheaper phone than flagships. So you don't have back glasses for the back the rear of the phone, etc. It's more plastic. And something I didn't mention, and which made me go back to Pixel, was that with Pixel 4 and Pixel 4a and Pixel 5, Google decided to bring back the fingerprint sensor, and that's one of the, I would say, the best things they would do to a phone to me. I don't like. I tried on the OnePlus series with my OnePlus 6, which still have a fingerprint sensor. I tried the face unlock, which is kind of like a Face ID and similar features to unlock you just looking at the phone, and it works. It quite works. It's quite fast, to be honest. I also tried it with the OnePlus 8, and it's quite fast to use, but it seems to me I'm not very handy when you have your phone in your pocket and you want to unlock it quickly just to read notifications or quickly send a message and so on without moving up your phone. You can't do that except if you have a fingerprint sensor.
Yeah, so this is a Pixel 4, though, is the only one probably on Android that does face unlock the best. And so unfortunate, Google is not continuing that, as we don't have that on either the 4A or the 5 or the 4A 5G. Now, Yannick, did you have any issues, with when you got started with your Android? Were there any areas of frustrations? Were there regrets and things like that? Or did you not quite experience such letdowns, like people like to say?
Frustration, yes, of course. Regrets, not really. I'm working as a developer, as an engineer, so I like to solve problems and I like to face difficulties in in computing. So when there's something that doesn't work, I'm happy to dive in and see if I can try to kind of find a workaround or find a real solution to it. And of course, there were some frustration in web browsing, for example. There were lots of frustrations until, I would say, 1 year or two, from which Google decided and TalkBack guys decided to dive in and to really improve the Google Chrome experience in browsing web content. Because before it was really a pain to do. You could do it with Firefox with special gestures, but sometimes it didn't work. And with Google Chrome, it was very sluggish, very slow. So yeah, that was one of my issue, I would say. I would say the only issue I still have is that, although it's being fixed soon, hopefully, is that the TalkBack Braille keyboard doesn't understand French currently, and I currently and to be honest, I truly don't know why, because it seems to me it's very easy to kind of add some French computer Braille tables. So maybe I'm missing something. Maybe in the need to do some kind of more deep work to integrate that. It seems now it understands English, Arabic, and I think it's Spanish, if I'm correct. Currently with TalkBack 9.9.1, but still don't understand French, and it frustrates me because unless I want to use commentary screen reader combined with advanced Braille keyboard, for example, which is very handy because commentary screen reader can auto disable when the ABK is in the foreground. So that's a very nice feature, but unfortunately, it's not available in TalkBack. This feature, this kind of screen reader disabling feature when a specific app comes to the foreground. So currently, that would be one of my frustration. But except that, I don't think there are lots of frustrations. I also realized that Google made lots of improvements in Google Assistant, especially when you are connecting an headphone with your phone and when you want to long press the action button to listen to your notifications, listen to your messages, and maybe answer to them, even with the phone locked in your pockets. That's very handy.
But that's such a shame, though, because Braille started in France, and Google, how dare you
Yeah.
not include French on there? Come on, man.
I don't
I
know.
think it should be the first supported language. As
Thank you.
an
Exactly
honor.
my point.
I was interested in what you said about fingerprint sensors, Yannick, and it's possibly a question for Warren for Austin as well. Do either of you bother with the on-screen fingerprint sensors that the Mariam is that actually with the Samsung? Do you bother with your on-screen fingerprint sensors where they exist?
Yeah, I use the display in-display fingerprint sensor. The first time I was trying to use it, I was like very frustrated because that was the first time. I think it was mostly on OnePlus 6T, but then I got the OnePlus Nord, and then I started using that.
So you mean on my daily driver, it's a PCR 4A, so it's
so you've got a physical one, haven't you? But like on your OnePlus.
Oh yeah, it was a physical one. I tried to use a display sensor on the OnePlus 8, which I had for like about 2 weeks, so it's a very short period of time. So my opinion on this is not really clear because, of course, the learning curve is more important with such devices. So you have to remember exactly where to put on your finger to have this fingerprint triggered correctly and your phone unlocked properly. So there were lots of frustration on my side when using this OnePlus 8 display sensor, but they are from time to time they are making progress with the technology, and maybe they're on the north. It's better to it's easier to use as well as on Samsung devices as well, maybe.
What I find on the 8 was that for me, it was the setup that was really frustrating. It was much less forgiving on setup than it was when I actually tried to unlock it. I guess there's a muscle memory thing as well now. You know, I've been using the 8 for so long, I know where it is. On my Samsung, which really threw me, it's in a different position. So I have to remember when I've got different phones out and about where that fingerprint sensor is, and I'll try and unlock the Samsung phone with my finger where the sensor would be on the OnePlus 8, and then I realised and probably decided to use my face because I've lost the will to live, having failed to unlock my phone. But I do like the fact that, you know, with a bit of patience and muscle memory, they work. Clearly, I prefer a physical one, but if you do have an in-display sensor and haven't tried it, you know, you may find it's not for you, but give it a little go.
Yeah, I think it's worth trying it, to be honest, and do not, maybe if you guys have some in-display sensors, don't do like me. Don't don't act like me, like trying once and saying, oh no, it doesn't work, that stupid phone, let's get it back and take another one. Just try to be a little more patient, and certainly you will be succeeding eventually.
The other thing as well is ignore your manufacturer's advice, which is that if you propose to put a screen protector on, you should do your fingerprint gesture before you do that. You absolutely shouldn't. You need to train your fingerprint sensor, folks, with the screen protector on. Otherwise, you'll have a world of trouble. I don't know why various phone manufacturers say you should do it with the screen protector off. I mean, I'm sure the fingerprint does take more easily in setup, but you'll have way more problems trying to unlock your phone, training it in a different scenario to the scenario when you actually want to use it. It's mad.
That makes sense, Ed, because someone like me, whenever I get my phone, the first thing I want to do before I even set it up is put on the tempered glass. I never, ever have my phone without a tempered glass. So it doesn't matter what they say. If I get a phone that has an in-glass display, definitely that baby is going to have that tempered glass on right as soon as it gets out of that box. I slap that thing on before I even turn it on. I'm not going to take my phone out there naked. I'm sorry.
I do too.
I do
too.
Don't be sorry. It's the time to remind our listeners to not to forget that even if the manufacturers say that the phone is very resistant, that they kind of try to put it on the floor and jump on it, each device like this, like phone, like watches, like tablets, are fragile by default. And protect them if you want they last long.
Quite right. Sound advice. Yannick, that's been absolutely brilliant. Thanks very much for coming on to talk to us about your Android journey. That was fascinating.
My pleasure. It was very very good to be here.
That's it for this week, folks. Austin, do you want to close us out by telling listeners how they can find us?
So if our listeners want to find us, they can email us at contactus@blindandroidusers.com with questions, comments, suggestions, with guides and everything. If they want to submit their recorded stories, then they can send it to my Android journeys at blindandroidusers.com. They can subscribe to our mailing list, which is nearing 450 members, by sending an email to blind Android users plus subscribe at groups.io. And also subscribe to our Telegram group, which has now crossed 100 members. The link will be in the show notes. They can follow us on Twitter at blind Droid users, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Thanks, Austin. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and see you next week.
Thank
Au
you.
revoir. And that has been another episode of the Blind Android Users Podcast. As always, we appreciate hearing from you. You send those email messages to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. For those My Android Journey stories, we encourage you to send those to myandroidjourney@blindandroidusers.com. Until we see you in our next episode, you have a wonderful day.